Hey kids, well, that is the Throgs Neck Bridge. On the other side of that was the Whitestone Bridge. On the other side of that was New York City. Coming through the Throgs Neck Bridge, I guess, is the official out of the East River and into Long Island Sound. So I am in Long Island Sound. That is Manhattan back there. That is Queens over there. This is the Great Neck, Nassau County. This is Great Neck. That's New Jersey over there. No, I'm sorry, that's not. That's New York. And then over there is Connecticut. Yeah, that's New York, and then that's Connecticut. And to see this lighthouse, the land that you see sticking out to the left of the lighthouse out there on the end, that's Sands Point. That's where I used to live when I was a kid. That's where I grew up, was there at Sands Point, New York. Very nice community, very nice neighborhood. So I'm going to go around this lighthouse, which I have fished. I have fished around this lighthouse many times. And then I have to go off of that point. That's Great Neck. I have to go off of that point. There should be a buoy out there. I'll go around that and then into Manhasset Bay. So I should be tied up. I should be tied up. It should be hornswoggled. I should be tied up to a mooring ball within the hour, I guess. So I thought I'd live stream a little bit of this for your pleasure, so you guys can kind of see a little bit of the area. That's Great Neck, New York. When I was a kid, I was in a rock and roll band. The other band members lived there in Great Neck. Another very upscale community. It's good to be back on Long Island Sound. I've been all over this water. All over. Hardly a nook or a cranny around here I haven't seen one or another. Don't ask me to name them all. I don't know them by name. I just know them because I run around them all. And out here in my boat, fished around this lighthouse. There's a buoy with around a bunch of rocks out there. I've snorkeled and scuba dived and fished all around it. Rode my horse on that beach there in Sands Point many times. And that's Long Island Sound. So this is officially right now the largest body of water that I have had the Lily 2 in so far. This is bigger than Lake Erie. Well, I don't know. You know, come to think of it, maybe it's not. Because Long Island's only 150 miles long. Lake Erie was 200 miles long. Lake Erie was about 70 miles north to south, and Long Island Sound is only about 50 north to south. So I guess that's not true. I guess Lake Erie is still a bigger body of water than Long Island Sound. Okay, so this is the largest body of water that's salt water that I've had to boat. I get it in there somehow. Get it in there somehow. So, with great memories in this area, and kind of a feather in my cap, even if I do say so myself, sailing into Manhasset Bay on my own boat. On my boat. That's right. I said my boat. I'm sailing into Manhasset Bay on my boat. I wonder if Debbie's watching this. Old girlfriend of mine, Debbie Rowntree. Debbie was the first person to take me sailing out here in Manhasset Bay. What a pleasant day that was. Anyhow, thought you guys might enjoy seeing a little bit of that. It's a beautiful, beautiful day out here. Not too hot, not too cold, but let me see what I missed all in the chat. Hey Adrian, how you doing? Hey Don. Wow, nice, okay. Don't be so possessive. I like to think of it as our boat. The our boat tour boat, there you go. Our boat, huh? Yeah, maybe so. Maybe so, man. Hey, Smoking, what's going on, dude? There's New York City behind me, Smoking. There's that right there. That's the Throgs Neck Bridge. On the other side of the Throgs Neck was the Whitestone. On the other side of the Whitestone is the East River going into New York City Harbor. So that's New York City that way. That's Great Neck, Nassau County, New York. And that right there, that land right there in front of us, that's Sands Point. That's where I lived when I was a kid. That's where I grew up, in Sands Point. Sands Point is the very northern end of the Port Washington Peninsula. The bay of water between Port Washington and Great Neck is called Manhasset Bay. And it was in Manhasset Bay that I was first introduced to sailing. Although I spent more time, hey Dick, how you doing? I spent more time running around in my little speedboat than anything else, so. 420 Dublin Surprise today. Okay. There you go. Oh man, just incredible, bringing back so many good fond memories and good times that I had here, and bad. Life moves on. You know, they're saying there's no going home, so I'm going into town to Port Washington just as a tourist, just as a boater coming in to have access to facilities so I can do some repairs. That's about it. Gotta do some fiberglass repairs, gonna work on the boat a bit, try to get some stuff done. Sanding, varnishing, painting, redo the companionway door, work on the running lights, get the placards that I need so I meet the Coast Guard regulations. $11.99 for three placards. Not a big deal. So definition of bittersweet. Yeah, I guess it kind of is, Don. You know, it's more sweet than bitter, though. More sweet than bitter, and more of a feather in my cap for, you know, having gotten myself the wherewithal together to sail into this harbor in my own boat. And you know, a boat that I'm coming to know now. I mean, I've sailed this boat 700 miles. This is a boat that I don't think I put 700 miles on my other two sailboats combined. To be honest with you, I don't think I have. So, I mean, that's a lot of 700 miles. That's a lot of hours, a lot of days. A lot of weeks, a month and a half or so. It's a lot of time. Almost 2 months, I guess, now, huh? We're getting to the end of June, so. Wow. Anyhow, guys, I just wanted to show you a little bit of Long Island Sound here while I'm out in the Sound. I'm going to live stream this evening once I get my mooring ball and get all tied up and secure. And for someone on the VHF. And break out some cold beers. In case you guys didn't catch it earlier, my fish finder and my VHF are in fact working now. They had quit working, but I think what happened is they got out here in the sun and the heat and they got dried back out, and so now they're working fine. But you know, that tells me that they're not long for this world anyway. Something's going to go on with them here pretty soon. So we'll have more for you later. Hello, that little diesel that did. That's pretty much it, Jeff. She's still chugging along. So I actually, you know, when I was coming down the Hudson River after the big storm yesterday and all of the bobbing up and down in all of the wakes and currents and wind-driven waves and what have you, I think we stirred up the fuel tank quite a bit, because as I was coming down through through New York City Harbor, the engine would surge a little bit and then slow down, surge a little bit and slow down. It made me realize that I probably had gotten some stuff in my fuel filter. Some of the sludge got splashed around and washed up off the bottom of my fuel tank. I mean, it's been running like a dream. You know, it's smoothed out and has been going just fine now, but something definitely high on my list to do here in Port Washington is going to be to change out the fuel filter. I'd actually like to change out to a whole different fuel filter system. My fuel filter does not have a oil water separator. And where my, hey Ruthless, yeah, I'm definitely going to replace the filter, but my fuel fill is right, well, you can't see it right now because of all the mess in the cockpit, thanks to my dog who decided to nest in all the lines and dig them into a big knot. Plus I've got my spare anchor right here, right handy for me. But the fuel fill is right in the floor of the cockpit. And so with all that rain that we got, there's a good chance that some of that water may have gotten down into the fuel. I just don't like the fuel system, the way it's designed, with the fuel fill in the floor of the cockpit and only a filter, not a fuel water separator in the fuel line. So I think I need to add a fuel water separator. I think that might help to take any, that way if any water does get down through the fuel fill, it'll get separated out and not go into the engine. Because I don't know if there was water after all the rain we had the other day, if there was water in the fuel and that was the problem, or if it was sludge off the bottom of the tank. Either of those could be a valid possibility, and until I pull it apart and look at the filter, I won't have any way of knowing. So, but fortunately my good buddy Douglas who lives right in this area and is going to come over and help me, is a crack diesel mechanic. Not only is he a good diesel mechanic, he's a diesel mechanic instructor. He used to teach diesel mechanics at one of the mechanic schools. So, Doug, buddy, you're going to help me do this fuel filter change and re-engineer my engine configuration. Some other things on there too I want to look at doing. They've got a lot of the plumbing for the fuel line where the fuel intake is and the water for the water cooling. They've got those hoses routed so they're literally right on top of one another. And so I don't like having one fitting or one hose, a rubber hose, sitting right on top of the little band, you know, the little clamp holding the other one, because you know it's going to vibrate and break the thing. So I don't know, something we got to look at. But anyhow, I think somebody asked me how long. Nick asked me. Yes, that's correct. Port Washington is correct. I don't know exactly, Dick. I figure 4 or 5 days, maybe a week. I'll be here. I don't know for sure yet. So yeah, Smokin', I actually was thinking about replacing that as a matter of course anyway. I have to admit, I do like the fuel fill kind of where it is for filling. Like I can take my 5-gallon cans and set them down there and I fill right down into them, so it's nice. Also, excuse me, also I can fill it up off of a hose or something, a fuel pump, and it's a nice big open area for me to contain spills or leaks or anything like that. So I don't know, just something to think about, I guess. Some stuff I have to work through. Wow. Sands Point, Port Washington, Manhasset Bay, right in front of me. Great Neck, Port Washington. Sands Point. Well, I'd still probably Sands Point back into there, but back in there a little bit further is the town of Port Washington. Really cool little town. Look it up on YouTube or on Google Earth. That's Manhasset Bay. Now these rocks coming out here, they stick out quite a ways. I've been looking. There's supposed to be a yellow buoy. I'm sorry, a green buoy, but I don't see a green buoy out anywhere. But I know well enough that I need to go wide around that point. Wide around that point. So I'm just going to stay out here and make my way around the point before I turn into Manhasset Bay. Oop. Big barge just passed me, so I got a wake catching me up on the back. Oh, there it is. There it is. I just seen the buoy. There was a boat lined up with it, which is why I didn't notice it before. All right. All right, kids. So I'll have more for you tonight after 7 o'clock once I get settled in. We'll see you then, guys. Bye. Hey, Sorrenti. Thanks, Gene.